Hey everyone, this is Jenny from Homestead Corner, and today we're canning up some sausage to get it into the pantry. So this is a super duper easy project. You can do this a couple different ways. I like to par cook my sausage first, so it has a good crumbly texture. I don't want it to be in a big lump in the pan. So we're gonna get this into a pan and get this baby started. So I like to use a big stock pot for this. I've got about 4 pounds of sausage here, and I just wanna get it all started cooking all together. You can do it in a smaller pan and just do a couple pounds at a time, but I like to get her done. So I'm just going to break this up and I'm going to start to brown it. I'm not going to cook it all the way through because you don't need to cook it to can it. So I brown it a little bit on the outside, and that's going to keep it from clumping up in one big clump. I don't want it to come out all packed like that. I want it to be kind of crumbly like after you brown it and cook it. So we're just gonna get this going. I've just got it on a medium heat, and it doesn't have to cook all the way through, just partially, just the outside. That's all I'm looking for. Okay, so now that we've got our sausage browned to where I like it, it's not completely done, but it's pretty close, and I just want it so it doesn't stick together in the jars. It'll stick a little bit, but not as bad as if you raw pack it. So I'm just gonna, you wanna make sure your jars are nice and clean and sterilized, and I just fill up my jars and I leave about 1 inch of headspace. And you could put a little bit of those juices in there or not, it's up to you. It's gonna make a little bit more juice, and I just use my poker, my little debubbler, to kind of get everything down where I want it into the jar. So not packed tight, but in there. And then I'm just gonna keep filling jars. This is really simple and easy to do. There are some juices and fats in the bottom of the pan, so I will grab those at the end and kind of make it even so all the jars have a similar amount, because that really adds a lot of flavor to your meats if you have any of those juices. And then I'm just going to keep filling jars and I will bring you back. Okay, so once I have all my jars filled and I've got them to the level that I want, I just use this to poke them down, get them even, and I put the little bit of juice that was in the pan, I tried to even it out in the jars. And if you have anything stuck on your pan, just like you would normally, add a little water, and all those juices, you can add it to your jars. It makes it just taste so wonderful if you get all those juices in there. So now I'm just going to wipe my rims, and these are not covered with liquid. I don't bother with that because it works just fine without it. It is going to make a little more juice on its own though. So I'm just going to clean all my rims. Because I'm working with meat, I definitely want to make sure that there's no fat on here, because the fat can cause you to have a bad seal, and we don't want that. Meat is expensive enough right now. We don't want to be having any bad seals. Let's see. And you can see, you can't see anything on the jars, but you can see on the napkin, once you get going, there is a little bit of fat on there. So just going to turn that and get some more vinegar. And you can't taste the vinegar at all. It just gets your rim nice and clean. And then once we have the rims all clean, I'm just going to add lids and rings. And I keep my lids in hot water because that's the way I learned. Ball says you don't have to do that anymore, so it's totally up to you if you do it. And then you just want your rings finger tight. I just use 2 fingers and 2 fingers. That's tight enough. You don't want to crank them down. Ooh. Or throw your lids on the floor. So you don't want to do that either. But so just 2 fingers, and that's tight enough. If they're cranked down too much, the lid can buckle, and then it's not going to seal, and it's not going to be safe. So I'm just going to keep going. We're going to get these babies in the canner. So we have all 13 of our jars in the canner. I got 2 layers. I'm going to put just a splash of white vinegar in here because our water's kind of hard sometimes, so I don't want the jars to be all cloudy on the outside. And then I'm going to turn this puppy up. I'm going to get my lid on, and we're going to get this baby heated up. And once we see steam coming out of the vent over here, then we're going to add our weight. And this can be done in pretty much any size jar that you want. I am doing it in 8-ounce jars because that's about how much we use at a time. You could do this in pints or quarts. However you would use it. I think we try to put stuff in the size jar that we use it in, because sometimes when I open a pint I only use half, and then if I don't use the other half fast enough then it's going to go bad. So I go with the 8-ounce pints because that's mostly how much we use, because that'll make sausage gravy for 3 people or so, and that's about how many eat it at our house. So, or you can add this to stews. This is just so versatile. We love it. So we're just going to let this heat up, and once we have some steam, I'll bring you back. So once you're getting a good steady stream out of here for 10 minutes, then you're just going to add your weight. I am under 1,000 feet, so I use 10 pounds of pressure, and I'm going to bring this up to 10 pounds over here. But if you're over 1,000 pounds, if you normally use 15 pounds, not if you're over 1,000 pounds, that's crazy. If you normally use 15 pounds to can with, that's what you're going to use. I always can at 10 pounds because of my elevation, so I'm using 10 pounds today. But if you can everything at 15, then can yours at 15. You want to go keep it the same. Once I've come up to pressure, because these are half pints, I'm going to can them for 75 minutes. If you're doing quarts, you want to do 90 minutes. Pints are 75 minutes, and anything smaller I do at that pint size. And anything from over a pint to a quart, I do at the quart size. So once this starts jiggling and we've got up to 10 pounds of pressure, I'll start my timer and go for 75 minutes. And that is it. Once the canner cools down and it gets back down to 0 pressure, I take these out and put them on the counter, and they're still nice and hot. You can see there's a little bit of fat in here and some of the meat juices and stuff. So this is perfect. When you go to open them, it's got a little bit in there so you can cook with it, and it's delicious. So simple and easy, and it's all ready for the shelf. Put it in the pantry and it's shelf stable. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.